Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault games. We are trying to get to 2,500 subscribers, so if you are enjoying these videos, please subscribe. Consider sharing with your friends so we can give out that custom leather playmat. And we have a Leyline of the Void leading out for Peter, along with a, I believe, Palaka Predation? I'm not actually sure the name of the black flip land. Comes into play tapped. Not an obvious card for this deck. Lands coming into play tapped, but then Dark Ritualing the next turn along with a City of Traders, and that's going to get a Karn the Great Creator. Now, Yorion in Taxes is a grindier version of Death and Taxes, if you can believe that. Has Aether Vial and Yorion as the trump card out of the sideboard. Playing with extra cards. And now Helm along with Leyline. Now, let's see. He actually did have to use all of his mana because of Thalia. So, Bo is not dead on the spot, but he is going to need a solid response, or else he is very much dead. Mercifully, Karn not able to get a 0 casting cost accelerant. That would be brutal. Like a Lion's Eye Diamond or something out of the sideboard. And Recruiter of the Guard is digging, but I think he's just going to be very dead thanks to Helm. And Peter actually pointing that out. I'm not sure if that was to save time or just trying to be a good sport, not having extra information given unnecessarily. If Bo has some secrets, letting him keep them for games 2 and 3. As Peter picks up a quick game off of Leyline Helm. And this is a really interesting deck. I did not anticipate doing this much commentary on Curse Prison, but it has been on camera a bit here. Doing well. It has some interesting questions to be asking. You know, in Magic, there really aren't any wrong questions. There are only wrong answers. So, you know, if your threat is actually good enough to win the game, which, you know, most threats are, if a threat is capable of winning, if your opponent has an answer to it, well, that's fine. But if they don't, you're going to get there. And that's kind of what this Curse Prison deck does. I mean, Curse of Misfortunes does not on the surface appear to be a legacy playable card, but if that goes unchecked, it will just win you the game, locking out your opponent from any type of creature interaction, and then actually tutoring up a win condition on top of it. So, yeah, it's a spicy deck that puts you in a situation where you actually do need to answer, and it's not the only line of attack. I think Chalice of the Void is certainly one of the most important cards in Curse Prison. Being able to stop that bottom rung of spells, those 1 casting cost cards. In the case of Death and Taxes, we're talking about Mother of Runes, Aether Vial, Swords to Plowshares. That's most of it. Death and Taxes does have a solid curve compared to most. Other decks very often have 20 or more 1 casting cost cards. You know, Delver, Brainstorm Ponder, removal spells like Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning, Swords to Plowshares, whatever variety they're on, Fatal Push. Deafening Silence looking to slow down Peter, though I don't even know if that's going to be really strong in this matchup. It does stop some of his best draws, but it actually has like no interaction with many of his lines. Spirit of the Labyrinth going to stop some card drawing. Again, not really what Peter's deck is doing. Spirit of the Labyrinth devastating versus Brainstorm decks. Or at the very least bothersome versus them. Cavern of Souls. And now Wasteland into a Flicker Wisp. And Flicker Wisp going to go ahead and KO one of these double face cards. So the permanent's going to exile, and then it's going to return. But since it's a sorcery on the other side, that's actually just going to go to the graveyard. Oh, they probably called the judge. I vaguely remember that. I do, of course, act as the judge during these events. Probably just explaining that. There we go. So Flicker Wisp, a little bit added utility in this matchup and the ability to blow up these modal cards. And there's a Wasteland primed and ready to follow up. So Bo's in reasonable situation here. He's got a real clock. He's got 6 power on board. Essentially a 3-turn clock. Peter's sitting on a single land. Deafening Silence going to make it difficult to kind of find any kind of quick combo. And that Wasteland going to set him back yet another turn. Boy, that looks like Gifted Aetherborn. That doesn't seem likely. No, but it is a deep track. That is Feed the Swarm, the new black creature or enchantment removal. So Peter, you're going to lose some life in order to play this. We'll see what he's targeting. Could possibly free up the restraints from Deafening Silence if he has like a Dark Ritual hand. Which would be pretty terrifying for Bo. If it targets one of these creatures, then I can buy him a lot of time. And I'm not sure what the pause is, so I'm going to go ahead and skip over it. Skipped ahead a little bit, so this should be resolved shortly. Feed the Swarm. Not a card that you'd expect to see. Kind of breaks the color pie a little bit. For a long time, Black has struggled to handle enchantments on any level, and they've been kind of giving Black the ability to handle them a little bit. We've had some cards that make an opponent sacrifice an enchantment, and now actually targeting, which is pretty severe. Shift in the color pie. I mean, that was Black's like major Achilles heel, was the ability to handle enchantments. Talking about things like Circle of Protection Black or Karma. Those were practically unbeatable cards back in the day, without, of course, playing Nevril's Disc, which blows up the whole world. Oh, all right, there we go. Unfrozen, and Deafening Silence is taken out. Apologize for the frozen feed there. Does happen on occasion. Try and work around it as the best we can. We've got a Trinisphere here. I don't think this is going to matter. I mean, he's facing down like all sorts of lethal. Aethersworn Canonist on top of it. Trinisphere seems like the opposite of what you need in that situation. So Death and Tax is taking that one down. Yeah, Peter needed some type of explosiveness with like Dark Rituals or something to buy him some time. Bo was having none of it as we are headed to game number 3. All right, now I think this is actually the finals of one of our FNMs. Maybe a Wednesday Night Legacy, not sure. I'll work on getting that information into these videos. Had a couple people ask about that, or maybe just one person. It has been asked that we say when these matches actually are taking place within the tournament. In general, the first round can be pretty wild, and then after that, it's always the highest seeded table. Now we have a opposition agent in response to Thalia. Aether Vial already primed and ready to go. Turn 1 Aether Vial, turn 2 Thalia. There's a Karakas on the other side. All pretty standard fare. Murderous Rider taking out Thalia. The 3-mana costing 1 more, but Peter's got it thanks to the City of Traders, which is now expired, and a Sanctum Prelate coming down at 5. So Bo has scouted this out, understands the major threats from Peter, being Curse of Misfortunes, and I think Curse of Death's Hold is also 5 mana. Oh, did I just miss a Feed the Swarm? Sanctum Prelate. Also a beater. Chrome Mox, imprinting Curse of Misfortunes, and now Murderous Rider coming back to at least slow things down. But getting involved in creature combat with Death and Taxes is a dangerous proposition. Yorion being added to Bo's hand. And he may be able to vial this thing in if he decides. He's got a couple of Aether Vials. Only 3 mana, so it's not super castable at the moment. Oh, well, we got Leyline of the Void. And now things are getting dangerous again. If a Helm hits, this could be over. Skyclave Apparition coming in. Exiles the enchantment. Leyline of the Void handled for now. If this Apparition dies, we will see a pretty beefy token, but in my experience, doesn't tend to go that way. Skyclave Apparition tends to just be a Vindicate on a stick. Almost every time I've seen it played, rarely is it backfired. And in games where it hasn't worked out, it's generally not a deciding factor. Yeah, Bo's board really building. And instant speed Yorion even better when you're not paying any mana. I mean, this is starting to pile up. Helm. Oh, so Peter had it. He had the Helm combo. And now a Recruiter of the Guard off of Aether Vial is going to be able to find another Skyclave Apparition. And now Yorion. And this is going to be blinking a whole lot of stuff. And Peter actually scooping it up. He's seen enough. That is the deciding game, but he recognizes he is not getting out of that one alive. And Bo takes it down in 3 to win either an FNM or a Wednesday Night Legacy. Either one is certainly an accomplishment. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.